Alrighty, Cosmic Lion Radio, and we are back today for another glorious edition. It's been a few months, a year, I can't tell ever, but we are back with it. A huge, amazing show today. But before we get started, I just want to say a few things. I'd like to welcome a new member of the Cosmic Lion Radio family, and that's this beautiful microphone here. It was sent to me from a friend, Alex Budney. It's from the collection From Nectars in Burlington, Vermont, used for thousands of shows by Sergey, the sound guy, who we recently lost. Sending so much love up to Sergey, as always, and everyone in the Nectars crew. And, you know, Nectars is closed down for now, but its memory, its spirit will find a new home soon. I know it. And this beautiful microphone has found a new home here with Cosmic Lion Radio, and I'm super psyched about it. It sounds amazing, if I may say. Thank you, Phantom Power. Anyway, it's just super cool. Shout out to Alex Budney for getting me connected with this. And look for some more new, really, really cool stuff coming from me and Alex and Sergey's tapes. Who knows? I didn't say anything. It's a secret. Anyway, the guest we have this week is absolutely amazing. His name is Allan Arkush. Absolutely amazing writer, director, filmmaker, TV director. Made these amazing movies: Get Crazy, Rock and Roll High School, Caddyshack 2. TV shows, directed over 400 movies, TVs, and film that he's been a part of. Billions of hours of film he told me about. So we're going to get into that. We did talk about our dearly departed Bobby Weir. So I do want to send a shout out to Bobby Weir. And I want to talk a little bit, because I think I'm going to start a season of Cosmic Lion Radio focused on the Grateful Dead. I think I'm going to break it up. Each episode we're going to focus on a different member of the Dead, and then I'm going to try to interview a few people about different things. I mean, the Dead is just a topic I'm so interested in learning about. I listen all the time, but the history around the Dead is absolutely insane, and the characters and the adventures that this band has is unrivaled in any band, I think, out there at all. Like, 30 years of insanity with Jerry. It's been 30 more without. And now, Bobby had this plan we heard about where he wanted to know where the music would be in 300 years. Well, I'm here to guarantee you that the music will be here forever. And it just goes to show Star Trek Starfleet Academy just premiered, and the captain of that ship, she's like she's a race that lives hundreds and hundreds of years, and she has a record player, and the record that she has on main display is Wake of the Flood. And she's got the Oxomoxoa cover. I think it's a Fillmore poster that featured that Rick Griffin design, and then the Stanley Mouse, I think it's the one from the Vault cover. Absolutely insane. So the Dead's music is timeless. This interview is absolutely insane. And, Allan also worked at the Fillmore East. He, Martin Scorsese was a substitute, came in and taught his film school class when when Marty was young. I can call him Marty, I guess. Anyway, so this is a really amazing episode. I'm super excited to, just be back with you guys playing some music. So the podcast feed obviously is going to get the music. The YouTube probably won't. But right now, I think you should listen to something from Dick's Picks number 4. All right, we're going to go to some music, and then we'll be back with Allan Arkush. All right, welcome back to Cosmic Lion Radio. I am very happy and excited to welcome acclaimed film and TV director of such things as Rock and Roll High School, Get Crazy, Heartbeeps, Caddyshack 2, TV-wise, Dawson's Creek, Ally McBeal, Heroes, Nashville. The Timecop TV show, I didn't even know there was one, but I'm psyched about. Love that movie, and comic-based. And Fillmore East employee, Deadhead, teacher, and all-around amazing guy, Allan Arkush. Allan, welcome.
Thank you. Yes. I forgot about Timecop.
You have over 70 different TV shows that you worked on. It had to be a wild ride.
Yeah, and I produced and directed about 400 total. Movies and TV shows.
Oh my gosh. That's insane. All right, let's let's like get at this thing. Let's start from the beginning. In film school, you met another student, Joe Dante, who I'm sure we're all familiar with, and you kind of got your start there with a little-known faculty advisor, Martin Scorsese. Is this what I read?
Yeah, let me just make a little correction there.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, I met in film school a guy named John Davison
Ah, okay.
and Jonathan Kaplan,
Okay.
who's a director who just passed away and done, a lot of films, The Accused, etc. John Davison ended up producing Airplane and RoboCop and other things,
Sure.
and another guy named Danny Opatashu. So Danny, Jonathan, and John and I also were not only in film school, but we worked at the Fillmore East together.
Okay, cool.
And then Jonathan got hired through Marty to come out to LA to do Night Call Nurses.
Okay.
And John came out to assist, and John got hired by Corman to be Roger's assistant and came up with the concept that Roger's company was just starting then.
Yes. Roger
And
Corman, yeah.
so he was hiring people, companies to do trailers.
Okay.
And John said, let's just do them in house. So John flew his old friend Joe Dante out there. And then after 2 weeks, John had talked me into coming out and has Jonathan. So John put me and Joe together in the editing room. So that happened in about 1974, I think around March.
Okay. All right, so we got to back up here and talk about
Yeah.
this working at the Fillmore East thing. I mean, this like to me blows my mind, but the more I started reading about it, I realized like when I was growing up, and it might have been the same with you, all I wanted to do was like work with this music that I love too. So for me, my generation, yes, we had the Grateful Dead, I guess, but we didn't, Jerry was died when I was 10.
Oh,
And so we grew up with Fish, and that was for us. And so I moved to Vermont and got a job at this place called Nectar's, which is where they started and where this was like it was like this little hovel of jam bands. So it seems like that's the same kind of thing that you did. You loved the Dead and this music, and so you were like, let's see, can I get a job here? Can I work?
uh, can I again correct you?
Oh, well, yeah, dude. I'm just kind of
Okay.
like spitballing here. Yeah.
No, 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 not at all. Okay, so um, after the Beatles were on Ed Sullivan and the whole thing exploded,
Sure, that was
and I started buying albums. And in high school, we used to go see folk music
of course.
at a place called Palisades Amusement Park,
Oh
which
wow.
was a middle blue collar amusement park in Fort Lee, New Jersey, where I grew up.
Okay.
And on Tuesday nights, they broadcast live folk music shows there. And that's where I saw artists like Richie Havens.
Oh, one of my
Um,
favorites. One of my
yeah,
absolute
Dave
favorites.
Van Ronk, a pair of sisters called the Simon Sisters. That's Carly Simon,
Oh, sure.
Patrick Sky, whoever was in the New York folk scene would come out to Jersey on Tuesday nights and play at Palisades and be on the radio. A guy by the name of Jesse Colin Young, who made a band called the Youngbloods.
Oh, sure.
So there was a scene of that, and then we bought tickets to go to our first big concert, and that was Bob Dylan at Forest Hills Stadium, and that was about 2 weeks after the big Newport
Oh, I was
Folk
wondering.
Festival blow
So it
up.
was an electric show.
We didn't know that.
Oh, wow.
So we went, and it was introduced by the folk guy from the college station and from Al Palisades.
Yeah.
And then Dylan took a break. And when he came back out, it dawned on us that there were amplifiers on the stage. And he was introduced in the second half by a guy, a DJ who was very influential on my taste, named Murray the K.
Oh, wow.
Murray the K was the fifth Beatle, and Murray the K and the Swingin' Soiree. And so I saw that show, and now in my senior year of high school, I started buying records, all different kinds of records, Rolling Stones, Yardbirds, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I don't think we went to too many concerts then, but my a year after that, we started going. We saw the first Grateful Dead show in the East Coast. It was probably June of '67 at a club called the Cafe A Go Go.
Sure.
I went to the Cafe A Go Go, and that's where we saw more folkish kinds of group, and a group called the Butterfield Blues Band.
Absolutely.
The
And that's in
Butterfield,
the Village in New York, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
the Butterfield Blues Band were fundamental to me
Yes.
and my friends and I think to a lot of people of having their eyes opened up towards blues and also towards raucous music being made by that were uh, people that were not dissimilar to us but older,
Sure.
and so we saw Butterfield and the Love and Spoonful were big for us.
Sure.
And
Nice.
so we used to go to Cafe. Oh, and I saw the Airplanes' first tour. And when they played, I think it was about February of '67. So it was right after Surrealistic Pillow. So I was finding out about these records and music, but remember, there was no rock magazines.
Right.
There was no rock criticism that we knew of. So you were getting your information piecemeal, and
Just from being there, really, and experiencing it,
yeah,
huh?
and I started to have a show on my college radio station.
You started a show.
Well, yeah, and was in a
Awesome.
place called Lancaster, Pennsylvania.
Hmm.
It was called Franklin and Marshall College,
Okay.
and that's where I transferred to NYU from. So that's where I started listening to a lot of music and playing my records on the radio because I had heard some freeform DJs like Murray the K. So I
Sure.
used to bring in my records and play them on the air and buy new records. And then on vacations and stuff, we would go and go to concerts. So over the summer of '67, we saw Country Joe and the Fish, and we saw a couple other bands that were on tour.
Nice.
And we go to see the Doors at a little club in New York called The Scene.
Wow.
The Scene was a little nightclub, and the Doors had played there once before, and I had seen the Rascals there.
Hmm.
And we were 18, 19. We
Yeah.
didn't know shit. So it says 8 o'clock for the show. We didn't realize that was a suggestion.
Sure. Yeah.
So we show up at 7:30 for good seats. The place is barely open, so they put us down in front on the floor, this little club. They were not going to give us a table
Sure.
because we couldn't
Couldn't
buy
drink.
drinks. So we're
Yeah.
looking up at the microphones. Nobody is there. So we wait like 45 minutes and then the band comes out, but it's not the Doors. And it was then that we noticed that the instruments and so forth were not anything that the Doors would play.
Mm.
And this all African American band came out, and the leader of the band, and they were not Afro hairdo African Americans, but old school,
Mm.
Chitlin Circuit.
Sure.
And the leader, what appeared to be the leader, had this big conch, and he was scary. And he did a countdown, and they started playing. And I had never heard a band where my first impression was that these guys are tight.
Yeah.
That had the
Oh,
number of
wow.
concerts I seen was so small.
Yeah.
And the band played the instrumental and finished like bang, and then they introduced the girls, and the room exploded with black women.
Wow.
It was Ike and Tina Turner.
Oh my gosh.
I didn't
Wow.
know who they were.
Yeah.
So now we're sitting in front of the microphone below Tina Turner on the floor, looking up at Tina Turner and the Ikeettes in those little skirts.
Yeah. Mind
Now,
blown.
after their set, the Doors came out and played. I can't tell you anything the Doors did.
Wow.
That night. I saw the Doors again later that summer. I saw
Oh
Cream later that
gosh.
summer. And now there was a steady series of concerts that were growing in New York City.
Yes.
and a concert place opened up in the East Village. There was a nightclub that we went to called the Anderson Theater, and that was the very first crayon sketch watercolor of what became the Fillmore East.
Gotcha.
And then, like 6 or 8 weeks later, everyone left that place and moved across the street to the Fillmore East,
Dang.
essentially.
Okay, so then obviously you met Bill Graham and spoke with
Yes.
him before. He's a huge hero of mine as like a Jewish deadhead. His story,
Yeah.
his life is just amazing. That book that oral history is
Yeah.
insane. Like it's one of my favorite books. Now, tell me about meeting him, and then how did you get your job there at the Fillmore East, and
Okay.
what did you do?
There's a series of happenstance,
The best.
right? So there was a concert in Toronto that Bill Graham put on that had the airplane in it and a couple other people and some of the Joshua Light show. It
Oh,
was
right.
a very rough version. And so when Bill bought the Fillmore East, which was actually called the Village Theater,
Hmm.
and it had concerts there for a while. But it was usually you just rented the house out and they played. Um, he by coincidence, the distance between the Fillmore East and NYU Drama School was a foot.
Yeah.
They were on the opposite sides of a wall.
Wow.
And that is how the modern rock and roll concert was invented. They were next door to each other.
Wow.
So you had all these baby boomers who were also in the film school, which was next door, and these theatrical people who had no place to go. In the sense of if you wanted to do Broadway shows and learn theater, you're out of luck because you had to have seniority. So you were never going to make that move. But like any other college in those days, it was an explosion of energy and ideas. And so they wandered next door to see what was going on with this old theater. And that included some of the professors, and they got hired or they somehow got jobs designing what became the rock and roll concert paradigm. Okay.
Yeah.
So before the Fillmore East, if you went to a concert, it was a dance concert. Okay.
Yeah.
The PA was rudimentary and it sat on the floor. Unless you were going to Shea Stadium to see the Beatles, in which case there was no PA.
Yeah.
The PA was the announcer that called the ball game. That's where they heard the vocals through.
Right.
So they just got this. They were all real smart. Said, "Well, they're looking at the theater and go, well, if the sound is, if we, this company that they got who did sports events and political things and a couple of concerts, how can we reach the people in the balcony, right? If
Yeah.
the speakers are on the floor. It was an obvious thing that no one had thought about because no one had done anything like this. So they took half the sound system and raised it up in the air.
Yeah.
So that was a huge innovation.
Humongous. Yeah.
They also invented a system where you could talk to each other over the sound of the rock bands, because just like in a Broadway show, the lighting operators and everyone in the crew is connected by a series of headsets.
Yep.
And that was a huge innovation. And they came up with the idea that the presentation, since everyone was in seats, should be unique to that theater, which was a vaudeville theater.
Mm.
So your attention is not a dance concert, your attention is forward
Yeah.
towards the stage.
Yeah.
So this is all happening in 6 weeks, right?
Yeah.
And opening night, you walked into the theater, and I was there, and they had a screen, and I had seen something like this at the Anderson. The screen had like a purple glow on it, and it said, "Welcome to the Fillmore East Joshua Light Show." And it had a colored psychedelic light show thing. Bill Graham came out, introduced the band, which no one had ever really done,
Yeah.
and their name appeared on the screen. Remember, these are all theater people.
Yes, loving
Their
it.
name appeared, and that was cool. And then the band would play, and the purple went off, and the light show and the lighting. This is so important. In San Francisco, the light show was a spatial experience, meaning the space that the groups played on the stage was lit by psychedelic colors.
Right. The
And
liquid
they would
light.
go on and off as to whenever people were ready to put one on, and would be approximate to the music by each of the individual people doing that thing.
Gotcha.
And the stage lighting would come on at the beginning and go off at the end.
Okay.
The lighting designer of the Fillmore East was from Broadway and had done jazz concerts. So the lights and the light show was not only spatial, but it moved through time.
Interesting.
So
And
when
he,
you go from roughly intro to song, that's one lighting setup. Then go to the first verse, there's a change. Go to the chorus, there's a change.
wow.
And that was kind of invented on the run, the idea that it should all be synchronous.
Interesting. Something
And
that is so
so,
ubiquitous with the
so
live show now.
basic.
Yeah. Yeah.
But there was nobody who gave a shit who could do that except us.
Wow. And so
Because
you got up with that lighting system, and
yeah, so
was that
I
the
go to the
Joshua
show
Light
and
show?
it blows my mind.
Yes.
So I go back 2 weeks later and I see the Doors and I saw Hendrix and I saw Traffic and a band called Blue Cheer and The Who.
Damn.
And then I got a job there. One of my roommates, what they did was they put up a sign in the NYU dorm saying they were looking for ushers because Bill wanted people to put you in your seat. Remember, you don't just wander in, you
Sure.
sat in a specific seat.
Right.
And the seats are on the floor all the way up to the second balcony. Needed people to sweep the aisles and needed people to run the candy counters, all of that. And everyone was about the same age and people got those jobs. And my roommate had one of those jobs, but he didn't want to do it 2 nights a weekend. So there's 2 nights and there's 4 shows, 7:30, 11:30 on each night. So he said, "You want my job? I'll give you half of my job."
Oh, that's cool.
And I said, "Do I want to go see the greatest bands in the world and get paid $10 for it? I think so." That's how I started
Amazing.
being an usher. And then because, as is usual in my experience, I'm a pretty hard worker and focused, especially when I'm interested in something.
Yeah.
And so I ended up as a head of there was teams of ushers. That's how you kept it organized. So mine was on the floor meaning right where the level where the bands played. I had half the auditorium and the other person had the other half. And so we got them in their seats and I was on the top of the aisle telling everyone where to go and watching the shows. So I was exposed to all the rock and roll fans and also being able to watch the show. And every weekend, let me break it down for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just, once the word was out about the Fillmore East, see, part of it also was these nerds who did the sound system were never satisfied. So they decided that one of the things that they had it working, but how do we make it great? So they learned, and they had learned about acoustical engineering. So they shaped the theater to the sound coming from the stage for rock and roll,
Oh, wow.
meaning they had electronic instruments. This is not something anyone else was doing,
Yeah, it was the
and
edge of a new technology almost.
sending out white noise and pink noise and all this stuff. And then in areas where there was reflections, they put up padding.
Wow.
And they tuned it, and they tuned, because it was an overhang, they tuned some of the speakers to go there and so forth.
That's
So
amazing.
you had good sound throughout the theater, but if you were on the first floor and the balcony, you had fabulous sound, as witness all those live albums. That's not happenstance.
Yeah, no, not at all.
The Allman Brothers really did sound that good.
Yeah, yeah.
And so,
Is that the most famous album you think that was recorded there? That's probably the one that everyone knows.
Mad Dog's an Englishman.
Yeah.
Uh, Band the Gypsies.
Oh, damn, yeah.
There's
Yeah.
3 or 4 Miles Davis live.
Oh, yeah.
There's a John Mayall that's really great.
Nice.
I did a whole video about this.
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
On
if
your
you
YouTube.
on my YouTube channel,
Okay.
which I think I told you about.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about it?
Oh,
Yeah.
I think so, yeah. I researched
Look it up.
anyway. Yeah.
I did this video on the 50th anniversary of the Fillmore. The premise is you think you can't go home again, well, you can. And I couldn't be there because I was directing. So I sent them this little video, which they didn't run, and then I put it on my Facebook page. And what it is me holding all the live recordings I had and going through them and saying, this is Neil Young and Crazy Horse. This is, and telling you about all of these bands that have played there.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I got a huge response on Facebook. And so I've been doing a version of that ever since.
Oh, that's
So
amazing.
where were we? The Fillmore East, the sound. And so I started
Yes.
being an usher there. And, so Friday, now we've got a place which is starting to get a reputation.
Yeah.
Let's just jump ahead 6 months.
Okay.
And now everybody who has played, and people toured constantly then,
Yeah.
whether it be Humble Pie or whether it be John Mayall or, these bands that we now revere
Sure.
were on the circuit. The Who all experienced this place and went, holy fuck, and told everyone else. So now there's a tension. So the Friday night early show was always the band like out of the gate, bang, right?
Yeah.
And you had an exciting show. Then the late show would start at 11:30, and there was no curfew. Are you okay? You look like you just got faint when I said no.
I did. Yeah. I was like, oh my God.
Your little rock and roll heart went, oh my fucking God.
Yeah, it did. I was like, oh.
And so the Friday Night Late Show, when it dawned on all these bands that they could play as long as they wanted,
Yeah.
they brought
They
it
went
big
for it.
time.
Yeah.
And there are some Friday Night Late Shows that are infamous.
Yeah.
One being the band who was second on the bill. Do you remember a band called the Iron Butterfly?
Oh, Inagata Davida, baby.
That was the biggest
many
album
others.
in the country on this particular night.
Okay.
And they were the headliners. And they had, now we had seen, we had seen this other band because we were huge fans of the band they had been before that, a band called the Yardbirds.
Oh, sure.
And so we all came early to see their sound check and went, Jesus, this band is incredible.
Yeah.
And so the early show, they were great, but the late show, they played for 2 hours.
Oh my God. Yeah.
And it's the Led Zeppelin,
Yeah.
And if you've never seen Dazed and Confused, and you see it live the first time they play it in New York City,
Yeah.
and so then the Iron Butterfly comes on and everyone goes home. So the next night, they were the headliners. It was like that.
Yeah. Oh my
So
gosh.
because the second night, the Saturday night early show was the hangover show when everyone had totally partied and done too much. But the Saturday night late show was the money show.
Yeah, I bet.
If you knew what the Fillmore was like, you came for the Saturday night late show.
Yeah. Would
And
people come
that's-
and just do both shows? They'll just do
What?
the early show and the late show.
Some would, and that
Yeah.
brings us to another important element, which was the fans.
Yeah.
And it wasn't that hard to get a ticket.
Okay.
You could show up at the box office and buy a ticket, and at a couple of record stores. There is no big business yet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So there was people who came almost every week, and there was 3 women from Long Island. That's with a G, Long
Yeah,
Island.
Long Island. Yeah.
Long Island, and they were there all the time, and I got to know them. They were true rock and roll people, like the Lou Reed song, they had a rock and roll heart,
Yeah.
or the song rock and roll. She had heard, or the one about Susie heard rock and roll music on the radio, and
Oh, rock
nothing's
and roll
happening
by
at all.
yeah,
That one,
yeah, yeah,
that's
yeah.
them.
Got it. Yeah.
And so I got to be friends with them. That is who Riff Randall is in Rock and Roll High School.
Ah, got it.
That's the model for it.
Awesome.
So after being an usher for a while, there was a job open on the stage crew, and they said if I wanted to do that job, I could have it and earn a little extra because I could pick up the soda and beer on Friday afternoon and set it up the dressing rooms and also get food for the bands. There
Yes.
was no contract writers that said you had to have this, you had to have that in the
Mm,
room.
mm.
You got a case of beer, Budweiser, and you got a case of Coke and a cooler. And I'd go in and I'd say, "What are you guys hungry?" Whatever, because there'd be a sound check or something, or before the late show. And
Sure.
the deal was, I'll get you whatever you want, but it's got to be walking distance,
Yeah.
because we were
Not.
just
Yeah. Not
not set up for that. So that was my job.
awesome.
And
Like a
so I
production
wound
manager
through.
now or something. What they would call.
Yeah, they used
Yeah.
to call me Maitre d'Etage.
Oh wow.
And there was a certain lighthearted spirit.
Yeah. Amazing. And
And then
so that
when I
led to some.
graduated from film school in 1970,
Yeah.
my senior class project, I had asked, Bill Graham had lent me the theater.
Wow.
He let me film my film in the theater,
Septuagenarian substitute ball.
substitute ball.
Yeah. Wow.
And the light show volunteered their services.
Wow.
And they did the titles, like on James Bondish,
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
And so the light show asked me to join them.
wow.
And that was the next step. But let's go to Bill Graham for a second.
Sure. Thank you.
So my parents wanted me to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Yes.
And as smart as I was and as well read as I was, um, I had not gotten into any colleges that I wanted to.
Okay.
And so I went to this college in Lancaster, Pennsylvania, and to study psychology. And because nobody had ever heard of film school, there was only three film schools in America then.
Hmm.
That was
Like New
it.
York and LA and
That's it.
yeah.
USC, UCLA, and NYU.
Hmm.
And a little bit of research brought out that the was that the only person I had ever heard of who had gone to film school and made a movie with their name on it was Francis Coppola.
Oh yeah.
And that was his early stuff. And so it seemed pretty distant. So when I got into NYU through a series of pressure points between parents and kids, I was carrying the guilt of, am I wasting my time here? Because you didn't go to film school and go into the film business.
Yeah.
Going to film school was like studying Greek poetry. You are not going to be a Greek poet for a living,
Yeah.
right?
Exactly. Yeah.
There was just no real pathway yet. It was a year off.
Yeah.
And
Interesting.
so I was carrying around this sense of I love doing this. I love being at the Fillmore, but a little bit of futility. But then doing all these shows and watching Bill Graham, who was only 10 years older than me, and Joshua White, who ran the light show, and the lighting designers, and all this stuff. And every week they worked their asses off to make a great show at something that they loved.
Yeah.
And I could relate to them and was envious of their lifestyle, And they were like me, but good at what they did. I said, maybe I should just focus on this. And these are responsible adults.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's what rang a bell. And then Bill and I developed a friendship from working together, and he respected
Wow.
me. And so for decades after that, whenever I saw Bill, we had a nice conversation. He'd always ask me about my career and what I was doing and so forth. So that was my relationship. But more than anything else, he was an inspiration
Yes.
to a young guy who had potential but wasn't sure if he had the nerve to do it.
Right. Yeah, I think he does that for a lot of people. He had this
Yes.
dream and again, changed the entire industry forever, you
Yes.
know?
And so I'm beside people like came out to work for Roger Corman with.
Right.
So Danny Opatasha, who's on the stage crew at the Fillmore East, writes Get Crazy years later. And
Yes.
John Davison hires me to work for Roger Corman. And John produces Hollywood Boulevard. And Jonathan Kaplan and I live in a house together, you know.
Yeah.
And so it was a group of people that we've stayed friends with ever since.
That's amazing when you build a friendship like that and you continue to like work through different parts of your life to
Yeah.
have those kind of steadfast friendships that you can rely on. It's such a huge thing and helpful for creativity because you have
Yeah. So
like a
Jamie Anderson shot my student film,
okay, great.
Septuagenarian, which
Yeah.
won a prize in the National Student Film Festival.
Can we watch that anywhere? Is that on your YouTube?
I think it's on YouTube.
Okay,
You
all
know,
right. I'll have
it's
to look, yeah.
around.
Okay, cool.
And then Jamie shot The Temptations.
Oh, wow.
And Jamie shot Hollywood Boulevard, and he was supposed to shoot Rock and Roll High School, but the union stopped him. And then he and I worked on many TV shows together. So
And are those still people that you hang out with and talk to? And I know I saw Danny on your on the Get Crazy after party that you
yeah,
made, and so
did
yeah,
you like that?
that was really cool. Yeah,
I love those extras that we did.
yeah, it's really fun. I mean, that movie is so awesome. Like having worked at a rock club myself and done New Year's parties and all this stuff too, you know, it rang so true there. It rang
Hmm.
like it was so much fun. Like, I mean, how can you not love this like robot drug dealer who has this automatic, these lines that just come out
Well,
and
that was
it's
Electric
amazing.
Larry, and that was
Yeah.
based on a real person.
A real robot drug dealer you had?
No, he was not a robot. He just
He
the
was just,
costume made him look that way.
yeah,
He
but
was a local drug dealer. He used to come to the Fillmore and sell drugs to the bands,
yeah.
and it's one of the reasons that cocaine got a big foothold
Ah,
in the Fillmore, and a lot of uppers, you
yeah.
know, was this guy Electric Larry.
Damn.
So we
Wow.
immortalized him, and the guy who put the people put the acid in the water in the movie.
Yeah,
In reality, those were the roadies for the Grateful Dead,
sure. I think I've
and they dosed us. And the album that came out of They Dosed Us, and you can buy that night of Grateful Dead. It's called Dick's Picks Number 4.
nice.
And they played till dawn, and the second on the bill was the Allman Brothers, and you can buy their sets as well.
Damn. So wasn't that a night too? And going back to what you were talking about is the acoustics of the Fillmore East. Wasn't Bear helpful in that section too? He worked with the
Tangentially.
tangentially. Yeah.
Yes, yes, because when he came there, the Dead came there so many times
Yeah.
that they were like family. And so when Bear came there, they would all huddle together and
Like nerd out.
yes, and below the stage was an electronics shop where they did all the work on the sound system, etc. And it's where the secret recordings were made. That
Oh,
that with Bear or somebody, they knew that was there, and so they would go down there and fix amps and so forth.
oh,
So
that's
he
really cool.
was there, but primarily it was a guy by the name of Chris Chris Lang. God, it was Chris Langhart and John Chester
Okay.
and a bunch of other people who were really the ones who did that, and they would mix the sound live. They didn't let the band's sound people
Oh,
mess
interesting.
with it except once,
Yeah.
and that whole weekend was just fraught. Um, a
Yeah.
band called Crosby, Stills, Nash and Young
Sure.
decided that the Fillmore East wasn't good enough for them.
What?
So they made us take our whole sound system out and put theirs in. Made
What?
us use bigger spotlights, and they mixed their own sound there.
Wow.
It was not a fun weekend.
Did that was that an album? Was that
That's Four-Way
Four Way
Street.
Street? Yeah. Interesting. Okay, before we move into the film stuff a little more, since we first talked a really earth-shattering Bobby Weir
Yeah.
transition to the next life. Do you have any specific memories about Bobby? If you're comfortable to talk about it, when did you first meet him? And
Um, I met Bob in working, you know. We did never really developed a specific friendship per se, you
okay,
know.
sure.
I got to know Mickey a little bit in those days because he would bring his grandparents to the show.
Oh yeah,
This is they would we set them up in little folding chairs on the stage between the amps,
wow.
and they would bring us chocolate chip cookies that his grandmother made.
Oh my God, that's so wholesome and
Yes,
amazing.
and I got to know Garcia
Yeah,
because, and I will tell you this story because it's the same spirit as Bobby. It's who the band were.
sure.
So Jerry liked to come early to the shows.
Okay.
And part of my job was, and now we're talking about June of 1969,
Okay.
was on Friday, I'd come early, go pick up the soda and the beer, set it up in the dressing rooms, and put the other stuff for the next day in the basement.
Okay.
Then on Saturday, I would order a company to bring the ice for it, and starting at about 4 in the afternoon, I would go to each of the dressing rooms, empty the cooler, and put in the soda and the beer, and then bring the ice at the last minute. And that would take about 2 hours, and I had to climb 3 flights of stairs each time to do this. And this is after you come home from the shows at 4,
Yeah,
you know, and I was a full-time student.
yeah,
So it's some point around that time, 4:35.
yeah.
I start to come down because the Dead were headlining. Theirs is the last dressing room, and I'm carrying a case of the 2 cases, and I barge in using my butt to open the door, right?
Yeah,
And I turn around, and there is Garcia sitting in the dressing room at 5 o'clock in the afternoon.
wow.
And he's playing the guitar, which is no surprise.
Yeah,
And the sunlight is coming through the windows because of where the Fillmore was. He's backlit. And as usual, he's smoking. So the room has got a background. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I was just doing this. No. I just got bored in a hotel and came down here and wanted to feel the place before the show. It says, do what you got to do. Okay.
okay.
So now I'm on the floor, you know,
Yeah,
putting the beer and the soda, and Jerry's sitting across the room. And when I say Jerry, this is the 26-year-old Jerry.
yeah.
This is the guy
1969.
who's on fire.
Yeah,
And this is the band who's in the ascendance,
yes.
right? And they have not put out Live Dead yet. And they have not put out Working Man's Dead.
Jesus.
So I'm trying to make small talk, you know,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
don't know whether I should interrupt him. But he's such a great conversationalist. It was a really good show. Oh, I started talking about his albums. And I said, well, first we talked about the show and how good it was. He said, I think tonight's going to be great. We are really playing well, and we've been rehearsing. Now, I had seen them in February when they played there with Janice. And that was the first, so February 69 or January 69 was when we saw what everyone was telling us was a great band. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
I'd seen them other times, but like really good wine, they didn't necessarily travel well.
Got it.
And so you never
Needed to
quite
age.
saw that magic thing. You saw a good band,
Yeah.
but so, you know,
Wow.
and he said, we're going to do great. I said, great. And I said, you know, I really liked Oxa Moxa. That was their newest album.
Yeah.
And he goes, thank you, man. I said, and I said, you know what my favorite song is on it is Mountains of the Moon. And he goes,
Glorious.
oh yeah. And I said, are you guys, do you guys ever play it live? You know?
Yeah.
And he said, pretty rarely, you know. I said, well, maybe I'll get lucky and you'll play it tonight. And he says something cryptic, and I'm putting the soda in, and he plays Mountains of the Moon for me in the dressing room.
Oh my God.
That's Bob Weir. That's Jerry.
Yeah. Just
That's the way it worked.
man,
He's
such
I'm making the soda and taking a care for him, and the
hell yeah.
deal is here's some music.
Damn.
It's why Jerry explained to me the whole taping thing, which
Hmm.
is you give us money,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then our responsibility is to give you a show that's unique to you giving us that money and give you the best sound that we could.
Yeah.
But when the music leaves our instruments, it's yours. You
Yeah.
paid for it.
Yeah.
And this is a concept that the record company could not
Has no
do.
idea.
So,
Yeah. Once we
so
played with
that's
it,
kind
we're
of
done with it. Yeah.
yeah. So that's kind of my feelings about Bob and Jerry.
Yeah.
It's all sort of one thing. And Jerry and I stayed friends for 30, 40 years after that,
Wow.
And I used to visit whenever they were in town. During the 70s, he would come by my apartment when they were in town recording because I think they did Terrapin in LA. And we'd watch 16 millimeter prints of movies and stuff. He was a movie buff. And
Did you ever work with him and Tom Davis when they were working on the Sirens of
yes,
Titan
I
script?
was
You
just
did.
about to say that.
Oh wow.
I read two drafts and gave them some thoughts on it. And I
Wow.
cut the trailer for what is called the Grateful Dead movie.
Yeah.
So I cut the coming attractions for because that's what I was doing for Corman.
Oh right. Yeah.
And Jerry contributed some guitar sound effects for a terrible movie I made called Death Sport.
Oh,
And
Death
he,
Sport.
yes.
Oh, and
And
Heartbeeps too.
and in Heartbeeps, he was going to do the voice of the robot on the guitar, but Universal fired me from the movie and changed everything.
Oh wow.
So anyway, I kept a long-term friendship with Jerry.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm super fascinated by that script because I read Tom Davis's book as well, and it just seems like a wild time there writing
It's
that.
um it's a good adaptation of the book, but that's all it is, in all
Like,
honesty.
yeah, it's like not a good movie, but it's a
It's
good.
not a cinematic reimagining. It's how they were able to squeeze that book. It's
Interesting.
not Amadeus.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
not.
yeah. Something amazing. Interesting.
Yeah.
That's so cool. I would love to read that script at some point. I've seen it like go on eBay and stuff, so I'm
Hmm.
always kind of got my eyes out for it. But all right, let's move into some
Please.
more film stuff. Although I'm sure I could talk about the Fillmore East stuff all day.
Yeah.
Um, Get Crazy, we started to talk about. That's a good segue over. So this is kind of like and everyone should watch it. Now, you didn't get that like 1080p re-release that you were trying to before
Yes, it
COVID.
is. It's out there.
Oh, it is out there, but it's on YouTube or is it available for?
No, it'll help you understand the course of that movie. That movie, thus, as now I think you're starting to understand,
Yeah,
is my Fillmore East experiences.
exactly. Yeah.
But they were changed to be much broader and more like Airplane by the producers.
I see.
And these were Hollywood sleazebags, okay?
Yes.
And all three of them had the same black Rolls-Royce convertibles that they parked in front of the office.
Yeah.
And when the movie was done, they decided they did not like the movie and that they were going to sell it off as a tax loss, which is what they did.
And
So
what
they,
Hollywood still does to this day, and it's
yes,
bullshit.
it's exactly like the producers.
Yeah.
And so it played for like a week with no advertising in a bunch of places. And it's in mono on the VHS that they put out at the time.
Mhm.
And they got some investment firm to invest in it, so they made money.
Man,
One of the
sweet.
investors went to jail for a Ponzi scheme, and the other owed so much money in Vegas that he committed suicide.
Jeez.
So the movie comes out on, no one sees it. The movie comes out on VHS, and that's it.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of prints around, and they would be played in places like the Alamo Draft House,
Yeah.
a
Like
couple
midnight
places
movie
like that.
stuff.
Yeah, and it started to get played a little bit at midnight, But I would get approached by companies, including the company that thought they owned it, because the company that made it got sold so many times by these thieves that
Mm,
the
gotcha.
negatives and everything kept being moved. And now they were going to put it out on DVD because that was invented.
Yeah.
And uh, I think was DVDs or it was blue. It was well, they're going to put it out on a
A
good
disc.
video version,
Yeah.
and they couldn't find the negative or the sound.
Mm,
And so every 5 or 10 years, someone would approach me, and I'm literally talking 5 or 10 years now,
yeah.
with the same request. It's such a good movie, man. What happened to it, and
Yeah.
how can I find it? And I'd give them all the information I had, and I would never go for it. It had disappeared somewhere into
Yeah. The
wherever
ether.
all that
These films go.
libraries had gone.
Yeah.
And then I met a guy at Telluride in about 2015 or a little after that, maybe 18 or 19, who came and we're talking about the movie. He came up and I love the movie. And he says, why has it never come out? And I explained to him, he says, do you mind if I devote some time to this? Be my guest. He says, this is what I do. I find movies. I'm
Mm,
not a big distributor. This is
yeah.
perfect for us, but I can find it. And he calls me up a month later. He says, I found it. It's
Oh
in
my
the
God.
vaults at MGM. They didn't even know they had it. And when they reconfigured their vaults for streaming, they found it and everything.
Oh wow.
And I said, go for it. And he calls me back like a week later. He says, they won't sell it to me because as soon as you ask for something, they think it's worth something.
Of course. Of
And
course.
at the money we're talking about, it wasn't worth it to them. And so he gave me the name of the woman who's in charge of all these films there. And I met with her, and she said, I completely agree with you. And let me talk to the lawyers here. Maybe we'll do it.
Hmm.
And the lawyer says it's too much effort. No.
God damn.
So a year or so later, this is going on now. So
On and
I,
on.
so I made the movie in 83 or 4. Now we're at 2021.
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
This has been going on.
For yeah, a long
And
time.
I'm working on something. You saw my movie Heartbeeps.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I, I did a commentary for the Blu-ray release
Mm,
from this indie label called Kino Lorber, who do a lot of releases.
okay.
And the owner says, um, I've got something I'm going to tell you, but don't tell anyone. We are this close to getting the rights to Get Crazy.
Nice.
But MGM are shitheels.
Yeah.
And if anything goes wrong, they're going to not do it. So let's keep it quiet, and I will call you, and
Yes.
I'll let you know what happens. And he calls me about 8 months later, says, the deal is done. I said, you're
Beautiful.
kidding. He says, we're going to put it out on Blu-ray. We're going to do a new 2K transfer. We're going to put it out. What do you want? I said, it has to be in stereo,
Yeah. Yes.
and a color correct for, DVD and Blu-ray. And he says, will you do a commentary on the movie? I said, of course I will.
Yeah.
And then about an hour later, I call him back and I say, this is my life story. This is going on 35 years now. And there's a lot about this movie that I would like to share to let everyone know why it's gone and what it means and so forth. Um, and I said, could I direct and produce all the Blu-ray extras?
The bonus. Yeah.
And he says, we don't have any money for that kind of thing. I said, well, how much you got?
Yeah.
And he says, $4,000. I said, done.
Perfect. Yeah.
He said, and he goes, really? And I said, Roger Corman, man, you just give me enough the money and I'll
Yeah.
give you a finished movie.
Yeah.
So I
Wow.
got one of my students from AFI to produce it. And here's what I did that I'm so proud of. I got the band back together.
Yes.
The whole post-production department finished off all the Blu-ray extras.
That's amazing.
All the editors and everything worked together. The sound, the music editor, and we put this thing together, and that's when the fist fight broke out between me and MGM.
Yes.
MGM hated what I did.
What?
And they said, this is not the way we do extras. And I said, I don't know what you do with extras.
Yeah.
I know this is the story of my movie that everyone wants to see. And we went back and forth. It got really ugly. I was going to get an ulcer or heart attack from it.
Yeah.
Because at the last moment, someone saying no, you know.
Yeah, you did the whole thing. You did
I
all the
did the whole
work.
thing, and we
Yeah.
had the one that you've seen,
Hmm.
which is in the Blu-ray box.
Yeah.
And we had another one called Our Lives Were Saved by Rock and Roll, dedicated to Lou Reed. And it's all everyone's experiences. When did you first hear the Beatles? What concert did you love the most? Tell us the story of some rock star that you met, you know.
Yeah.
And everybody did that
Wow.
because everyone was under COVID. So I got
Oh
everybody
yeah.
to do a Zoom on it. So we had finished that, and I said, we're not telling them about this. Are you guys cool with just finishing the work on this, you know?
Yeah.
And we'll put it up on YouTube and somewhere else. And the other thing that I did was, now you've seen the movie?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, you know the Nada band,
Yes, that's it.
the
Yeah.
girls band.
Yes.
I got them back together.
Wow.
I
Y-
found them all
Yeah.
with with my trusty AFI student.
Wow.
And I said, I want you to sing the song again, the way you are now. Everyone's in their 50s and 60s.
Wow.
And I made a video of how to sing to the lens and make it look cool.
Yeah.
So they just played it in, it's all lip sync. So they played it in their homes, and they had their roommate, husband, whoever videotaped them.
Wow.
And then the guy who edited all together has edited the last three Jumanji movies.
Wow.
And the guy who edited the other extras, he not only he edited Spinal Tap, and
Wow.
he's one. These are guys that I've been working with since they were assistant editors on Rock and Roll High School. I just had dinner with them on Saturday, so
Wow.
that's how it all came together.
Oh my
And
God,
that's
it's
why if
amazing.
you go to my YouTube channel,
Yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that isn't in it
Okay.
because we just got tired of dealing with it. They wouldn't let us, like if I said um, the first the first punk record that I ever bought was Iggy Pop, Iggy and the Stooges.
Yeah.
And I'd hold up the cover and said, you can't do that.
Oh, you got to
Do you
pay
have
for that.
permission for the cover?
Yeah.
Or
Oh
we had a
man.
picture, we got the woman who takes all the famous Fillmore East photos, Amelie Rothschild,
Mhm.
had this great picture of Saturday night on Second Avenue with the marquee and people running around, and they say you can't use that. I said, Amelie said I can. She says, who is this guy in front of the camera? I said, well, someone walking by the sidewalk. You have to get his permission.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh,
Anyway,
so
so
much red tape.
it's out there. I'm proud of it, and it got great reviews.
Yeah.
And because now people knew my work, it was put in the context of my work.
That's great. Yeah, it's an amazing movie. I would encourage everyone out there listening, if you haven't seen it, you've got to see it. It's amazing. If you love rock movies, and like you were talking about, Lou Reed is in it. Malcolm
Yeah.
McDowell is in it. You know, Daniel Stern in his
And Danny
pre-Home
Stern on the
Alone.
extras is terrific,
Yes, yeah,
you
he
know,
is.
and
Yeah,
Malcolm McDowell did the extras with us, you
yeah,
know, and we went back in, and because of the limitations at the time, um, I wanted it to look like a 1950s Jerry Lewis movie, you know,
mm,
that bright 50s Technicolor. I was
yeah.
able to do that electronically because we had the original negative.
Oh right.
And so the color is really great.
Oh, I
And the
gotta see. I
color
haven't seen
on
the
it
new
is
cut.
better than the color on the 35 millimeter prints that are out there.
Wow. Now,
And it's in stereo.
yeah. Do you plan on doing any showings of it, or do people talk to you about
Oh,
showing
they
it in
do it all
LA
the
here?
time. I've been,
Oh yeah.
I've gone and spoken before it. It's kind of like
Oh, I
something
gotta
I
check it
end
out.
up doing a couple times a year, that or Rock and Roll High School. I
Okay.
wish someone would show the Temptations in a movie theater. of all the things I've done,
Yeah.
in all honesty, The Temptations is the one that has had the most impact on the people who have seen it. And there's millions and millions of people have seen it.
Hmm.
It has found a place in the home life of African Americans of generationally.
Hmm.
It's the story, and I have my students at school come up to me all the time and says, I can't believe you made that movie. I have seen it with my auntie like 4 times.
Yeah.
When they figure it out, they're actually texting in my classroom. They're
Guess who's
fan.
the teacher?
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
amazing. It's amazing the power of film like that
Yes.
to unite generations, and especially when it's about something as timeless as the Temptations, the
And
music.
it,
It's like
yes, and it doesn't go away. Temptations is
no,
still playing.
they'll never go
I
away.
mean, Rock and Roll High School is on 5 or streaming channels.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
Moonlighting is on Hulu. Saint
Yep.
Elsewhere is on Hulu.
Yep.
Heroes is on the Peacock.
Humongous. Yeah.
All my stuff is out there.
Yeah. I mean,
You
we
want to hear a
are.
scary figure?
Yeah.
Guess how many people have, how many times my work, all 400 movies and TV shows, have been shown,
I
and
mean,
how many people have seen them?
it's got to be in the millions and millions.
Ready?
Yeah.
4 billion.
4 billion. I mean, do, who else has numbers like that? Who
Oh,
else is
many
putting up?
people do.
Oh, there
Trust
is.
me.
Okay, all right. All
That's
right.
But and I was when I was going to retire, I did some math about to discuss with my wife and Joanne. I directed 7,000 pages of script. I directed this many episodes. I I've been in a location van for 2 years, and let me figure out how many people roughly have seen it. Well,
Yeah.
that was easier than I thought because 14 episodes of Moonlighting, on an average, they drew between 20 and 25 million people. So
Yeah.
you can round it up or round it down. So already you're at 500 million,
Yeah.
not counting reruns.
That's
And
insane.
Heroes, 60 something episodes. Crossing Jordan, 117. So it
I
adds
was
up.
working on Heroes. I'm a cartoonist and comic book guy, so
Yeah.
that show was always really big for me. Did you get to meet Tim Sale, the guy who did all the art, the comic art for the
Oh
show?
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, Tim, all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I interviewed him once
That
or
was a
twice.
really interesting experience. The first year was great.
Yeah.
The second year we lost we lost our way.
Yeah. It kind of gets like that with any of these great shows.
It's
It's hard to
very,
keep
very
up.
hard to keep the quality up.
Yeah.
And there was too many distractions because there was making so much money.
Right.
And we lost the essence of what made the show successful by Tim Kring, who created the show,
Hmm.
is not a comic book guy.
Hmm.
He's not a superhero guy.
Yeah.
But he kept thinking, wouldn't it be great if my wife, instead of for pickup and drop off and taking care of the kids, could have a power? And that power was she would appear anywhere she wanted to in our station wagon instantly. It was just, and
That's
she
what
said,
yeah.
that's
That's
the
how we created the
show.
show. Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, suppose everyone had just one power
Yeah.
that they adapted into their life. And that was the beginning of it. And that was the
Interesting.
purity of it. And that's why it was a family show. But like any TV show, you're adding layers of complexity as you're going along. And then we had the Hiro Nakamura going to the future, which, by the way, we were just kidding. And then we showed
Yeah.
it. It was fantastic. And that line, save the cheerleader, save the world.
Right.
That was just somebody made that up. And so all those things started adding layers of complexity.
Yeah.
And the writers were more towards the sci-fi comic book world, superhero world. So we lost the naive innocence of the basic concept and added
Interesting.
plot. And that's why the show lost its way.
Interesting.
Not through any bad intentions, It's
Sure.
just we didn't see it coming that way. We thought we were doing good.
Yeah, it's hard to see those things when you're in the writer's room. I
Yeah.
feel like
You
it's
know, if
like,
someone says to you, all right, so Hiro Nakamura is going to flash back to 17th century Japan. And you go, does that mean he's going to be a samurai? He says, yes. So, but then
okay.
we made like 10 samurai episodes when we should have made three, you know.
Yes, yeah. Well, and then I mean, I'm a huge mark for the time travel story as well. And you worked on the Time Cop. You directed the TV pilot of Time Cop.
Yeah,
Do you
I got a
remember
phone
working at that at
call.
all?
Yeah, I got a phone call to come and direct an episode,
Yeah.
and I wasn't sure I wanted to do it. And they said, please, can uh, you direct an episode early in the season, and we'll make that the pilot because we're not happy with the pilot.
Oh, interesting.
And it was for a network that wanted to be in business with me, and my agent said, we did that thing where you ask for too much,
Yeah.
thinking they'll turn you down.
Yeah.
But they said yes. And I said,
Oh
oh,
man,
fuck. Do I have to do it? She said, you can't turn
you can't turn it down.
it. So that's how I did Time Cop.
Yeah. I was thinking that it would have been a cool way to sidestep in and be like, oh, let's do a flashback to the Fillmore East one,
Oh,
from
yeah. That I didn't have that much control. I just
yeah.
kind of walked in and did it. Yeah. I
That's
did enjoy that shoot.
yeah, there's so many amazing things. Like as I was looking through your IMDb, like this was so huge in its time. The Ally McBeal dancing baby
Tell
episode.
me about it. That was my
That was
first episode of Alley.
yeah, that was
I have
humongous.
been very lucky to do shows about that are zeitgeist moments
Yeah.
between men and women in the form of romantic comedies.
Okay. Yeah.
And so that's what Ally McBeal was to the 80s. Was it the
Oh, I
80s?
think that was the '90s or maybe even early 2000s.
90s.
Yeah,
And Moonlighting was that for the 80s.
for sure.
So I was the
And that
right
was Bruce
person.
Willis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it was a gigantic show.
Yeah.
And so it fit my love of romantic comedies, because I was essentially doing a George Cukor movie or Howard Hawks movie every week.
Yeah.
So I was happy. The one that I did, the last thing I did, is a show that's on Netflix called The Series of Unfortunate Events.
Oh, sure.
Lemony
Lemony
Snicket.
Snicket. Yeah.
And if you go to the second season, episodes 7 and 8, which is what I did, called Hostile Hospital, you'll see some vintage wacko Alan Arkush kind of stuff.
Oh, nice.
I,
Nice.
they really let me go wild with the humor, and it's kind of like a cross between the Marx Brothers Duck Soup, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, and The Shining.
Nice. Oh my God. I love that.
So I closed out with that, and then I got offered the opportunity to teach at the AFI, and I've been doing that ever since.
Yeah. How was that? How is being a teacher now like different than when you were in film school? And obviously everyone's
It's
got a
completely
film
different. There were
studio in
no
their
teachers.
pocket.
There
Yeah.
were no teachers when I was in film school. There
Yeah.
was a coterie of them. So when a teacher got fired at NYU during my junior year, there was nobody to where do you go?
Yeah.
There's only three film schools.
Yeah.
So the head of NYU had a film student who he was making a movie for and it was looking for work. And so he asked Marty if he wanted to come in and teach the class. So
Wow.
Marty was my film history teacher, my film production teacher. I took the summer workshop with him. He worked on Woodstock and he was my senior advisor.
Dang. So he had only worked on Woodstock at that point?
Correct. And he had done his student films.
Right.
And he was making Who's That Knocking at My Door.
Wow.
And
Jeez.
somehow or other, he was able to get Francis Coppola to come to Francis Coppola to come to NYU and talk to us. That was great of him.
Wow. Thank you so much for joining us. Thanks for talking to us. Like,
And I'm sorry I ramble. I just go and go.
oh man, I love it. That's
Okay.
exactly what I want. I mean, that's how you get into the deep, dark corners of the story and
Right.
stuff. And
So take a look at my new film series. It's called The Last Reel,
okay.
and it's on Trailers from Hell. and it's also on Alan Arkush YouTube channel.
Okay.
All my work, if you want to see it, my rock criticism, my film criticism, episodes of things, it's all there.
Beautiful. And we'll look for that. And thank you so much for chatting with us, Alan. This was absolutely amazing. And may
Great.
the four
Had a good
winds blow
time.
us safely home. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Have a great rest of your day, man.
And God bless Bob Weir.
God bless Bob Weir. I see him out there every day.
Okay.
All right, Alan. I'll see you out there.
Bye.
Alrighty, we are back. Absolutely amazing interview. Blown away by everything I heard, the stories, the places he's been, the shows he's seen, all the shows I've ever wanted to see. He saw Doors, Cream, The Dead at the Fillmore East. That story of Jerry playing him Mountains of the Moon while he's stocking the fridge, like absolutely just mind-blowing experiences. I'd encourage everyone to go check out his YouTube and the last reel, the new stuff he's working on there he talked about. I'll have everything in the comments and the show notes, of course. Shout out to Bobby, shout out to everyone. And Alan, just thank you so much for doing this. It really means the world. I'm trying to get back into doing Cosmic Lion radios because it's really fun for me. And I love doing it. So there's going to be more of that. I am doing this Grateful Dead season, so you'll see more of that. I hope you enjoyed it. And on taking us out, I want to play a song from Bobby's newest album. And it's called Only a River. Thank you so much, everyone. And look forward to more Cosmic Lion Radio. Again, Alan, thank you so much for doing this. I would say everyone needs to see Get Crazy ASAP. It's so much fun. It's such a great movie. You'll recognize a ton of faces in there. So just have fun, enjoy, and let's go out with this last one from Bobby.